I'd also like to recognize other elected officials, or U.S. elected officials. I know Councilman Kazi Mia is here. Is there anyone else that's here? And if so, I'd like you to stand and be recognized. Is there any other elected officials? Well, also too, if there's anyone who's been a candidate for U.S. office here, I would ask you to stand, please. Or stand. Any office, doesn't matter what level of government. It could be federal, it could be local, it could be state. Doesn't matter their party. Would you please stand as a candidate? If you ever run for office here in this country, please stand. Here's what I would like, if you don't mind. I would like briefly, if you could just introduce yourselves by your names so everyone know who you are. Mr. name.
Tuwan Chaudhary. I'm a commissioner from Heldon, New Jersey.
And let's hold our applause until everyone's announced who they are, what office they may have held or either run for.
Yes, Ahmed. I ran for New York State Senator, District 30, Queens, 2002.
All right, we'll do this one more time. I will first call on young lady.
Yes, I'll support Obama is in Ashland, Massachusetts. Democrat.
Thank you. We'll hold the applause until the end. Yes.
My name is Mohammed Raznak. I ran for Board of Trustee for City University.
All the way, yes.
Khan Shaukat, I ran for Vice President for Police Department, CW, Local 1192 Union.
Is there anyone else? Please raise your hand. This is very important. Yes.
I ran for twice in the school board. I was elected twice, and I used to manage $350 million budget. And I ran for New York State Senate. I got 42% and I lost. And right now I'm a commissioner of Voter Assistance Commission of New York City. This one is appointed by the Mayor of Blue Party.
Is there anyone else? Yes.
Mujib Rahman, ran for City Council District 25, which is Jackson Heights.
Wonderful. Wonderful.
Mohammed Majumdar ran for judicial delegate and get the highest amount of vote from my committee. And thanks to all. I'm also a member of the committee board appointed by the board president, and I'm the president of the Bangladesh Committee Council, the host of this program. Thank you.
Is there anyone else who's run for office here in the United States?
I'm Mohammed Nurullah here. And since this is my fourth term, I'm nominated by Board President, Community Board 9 and Bronze Board.
Is that it? Let's give everyone, please, all of these gentlemen and lady, big round of applause. Thank you. Thank you very much. Now, here's why that's important to me. I know you've been waiting here very long, so I'll be brief. But if you look at the seal right here, Bangladeshi American Community Council, what does it say right below there? A bridge to the mainstream. What I'd like to share with you is how we can run for office and how we can get elected and then how we can serve our community here. And this is the reason why I say it. We have all of these people, very well known, very respected people, very qualified for elective office. We need to come out and support our candidates. Now, the fact that you've run for office and lost, that's a good thing. That means you learn by experience. I know. I was elected and then I was defeated. I actually had an election stolen from me. Those experiences have made me a formidable candidate. It's allowed me to defeat a long-term incumbent state senator to be the current state senator. And if you would permit me, I'd like to share with you how we won this election against apparent all odds and to be able to win it convincingly, but most importantly, to be able to serve the people of Michigan and also of this country. If I could, Mr. President, just share that with you. You know, we raised money. We had supporters that helped us to get elected, to win the primary. We had a long track record of serving that community. All of that was important, but none was more important than this. Having the right values. Values is what matters, because that's what will drive you to be able to run against the establishment, run against all odds, and prevail. Not only the election, but also in terms of serving our people and our country. There are two sets of values I want to share with you. One, those of you that are born in Bangladesh understand this, because these are the values that attracted you to this country. It's the values in the preamble of our Declaration of Independence. And it's the most quoted provision of it is that there are certain rights that we believe, by virtue of the fact of you being in this country, that you have, by virtue of being here. And those rights are, you have the right of life, of liberty, and then most importantly, you have the right to pursue happiness. Now the reason why I say those of you unlike me, who had to come over here, like my father, who had to risk everything, and you know there was no guarantee you come in this country that you'd be able to succeed. The only promise that this country provides is that you have the chance to pursue happiness. You know this better than anyone. That's so important. But then the next sentence of that preamble talks about how those rights are really preserved and cherished here in the United States of America. It's by having a government that serves the people, not itself. And this is one reason why the voters chose me over everyone else in the race. Because I ran, as Kazi Mia, our councilman, said, giving power back to the people. You see, many times in the city of Detroit, we had people that would run for office so that they could achieve high status. I ran for office to make sure that everyone in the city was elevated in their status. That's the difference. So here's the important message I have to say to all of you, and I'll be short, is that to run and succeed in this country, you must embrace the important principles that this country was founded on. That means the status is not to the politician. The status and the power and the rights go to the people, and when you're elected to serve, not yourself, your friends, or your family member. You're hired to do one thing. It's to serve everyone, especially those who are in the minority who've been shut out of this process, who may not have the power and rights and money to be able to prevail. You are hired to be their spokesperson. That's what I offered myself to the people of the city of Detroit and the suburbs. And that's why they chose me in part. Now the other reason is this. It has to do with my father. He was known as Abdul Hashim. Others knew him as Muzaffar Ali. He was born 100 years ago when the British controlled all of India. He died many years ago, many years before even Bangladesh was even established. So it's not just nationalism that he provided me. He provided me with the values that I believe are the foundation to our country, to our culture, and most importantly, our language. Because even though now English is my only language, my father used to speak to me in our native tongue. That was important. Because what he indicated to me was that he wanted me to be educated. He wanted me educated in the old country. He also wanted me to be married in the old country. And he, by his actions, respected my mother very much, who was an American, who was raised in Detroit. Many people say to me, well, you know, Hanson Clark, you're born in Detroit. Your mother is American. Your father died so long ago, 8 years old. Does it really matter? Does it really impact you that you're a Bangladeshi American? Now, that's a good question. Mr. President, I want to share with you why my father meant everything to me. Here's what he did. He knew that he was sick. He could tell that his health was failing. What he did, he spent all of his time with me. From the day I was born, from the hospital, he brought all of his countrymen to the hospital room where my mother was. My mother told me this, that's why I know this. And he was with me every day until he got sick and died in the hospital. And I was even with him there as an 8-year-old boy. He would come to school and visit me in elementary school and take me out of class. And you would think that's not a good way to really enforce the value of education. But you know why he did that? Because he wanted to be with me. Here's what my father did. He gave me everything. He gave me his heart, his soul, his entire being. This is so important. To many people in this country, that's rare. For you as Bangladeshi Americans, you understand that he was a typical father. A father who was there for his children. And it's because he died over 40 years ago. In my effort to make sure that those memories don't fade, I seized on them. I remember everything about him. And over the years, his message, his presence is even stronger with me now than years ago. Those values is what gave me the drive that I needed to serve the public and win this election. You see, it's not in spite of the fact that I'm a Bangladeshi American, that I am now a member of the U.S. Congress and eventually in a few weeks. It's because of my father's values. You see, those values I just told you about, the utter devotion to someone else, to your family, to your community, that's what this country is built on. Serving the public, not yourself. You see, they're one and the same. This country and our immigrant values are together there in line. Those are the values that I embrace fully as a member of Congress. So not only will I join the Bangladeshi caucus, you can count on me at carrying out those values that are so important, that built this country and made it the greatest democracy on earth. Now, I'm sharing this with you because we need more people to run for office and serve in office who have it in their heart to serve the people and not themselves. That's what my father would have wanted. And that's what we have in this type of commitment today. In closing, it's this. As proud as I am to be here, I am brokenhearted that my father couldn't see this turnout today. Because, you know, when he came to this country, there were only 19 other of his countrymen together. And they did everything together to support each other in a clubhouse alone. But it was by that power of them working and staying together that they were able to help attract and build this enormous community that we now have in this country. So here's what I ask you to do. Support these candidates that stood up. Support people like Kazimia, not because you think they're going to win, but because you know in their heart they should win because their commitment is to serve them. Thank you so much, and God bless everyone.
Thank you.